Yeah, well, I was on tour with Ray Charles, and we were in London, and George Harrison was in the concert, and he said, "Hey, that looks like Billy Preston." So he called around and found out it was me, and he called me at the hotel, and invited me over to see the guys. So when I got there, they were filming Let It Be and recording, you know. So he said, "Hey, Billy," we started reminiscing and playing old rock and roll songs. And he said, "Hey, come on, sit in. You want to stay over and help us finish the album? You know, take a solo." You know, just made me remember the band, you know. I was in the Beatle office every day, breakfast with them at lunch and everything. It was exciting, you know. It was fabulous.
Something is a song of mine I wrote towards the end of the Beatles album, you know, the White Album. I wrote it as we were still recording that album, but I never finished it off. I could never think of words for it. And also because there was a James Taylor song called Something in the Way She Moves, which is the first line of that. And so then I thought of trying to change the words, but they were the words that came when I first wrote it. So in the end, I just left it as that and just called it Something.
Yes, it was intended exactly to be a participation thing. It was written at the moment when Queen was... We were, in a sense, the sort of purist rock band, and we expected people to just sit there and watch us or stand there and watch us and let us play to them. There was a point around, I'm not sure, I'm not very good at dates, but on the album before that, like when we were touring for a day at the races, when suddenly the audience would sing all the words, you know, sing all the songs along with us. And I think our first reaction was like irritation. Why are they doing this? You know, why don't they just damn well listen? And then it dawned on us that this was something new and great and should be encouraged. I seem to have written something which actually has embedded itself in public consciousness. I love it. I just think it's the greatest thing, and makes me feel very happy.
Well, I was watching the 5 years at best of Saturday Night Live, and I was flattered that they showed the segment of John Belushi doing With a Little Help, because it was a pretty cutting, you know, version he did of it. I went on there a couple of years later, and we did a duet on Feeling All Right. And one of the comical things that day was I had a bit of a sore throat. I went to a voice specialist, and he followed me around to the place, you know, to see what was going on. And because the guy put like the lollipop stick in my tongue, you know, and he was peering down my throat, having a look.
I remember recording, I think it was Kansas City with the Beatles, and I was, I'm gonna, because it's like, it's you've got to get out of this person who's talking quite sensibly, and you've got to go, well, and you've got to like go somewhere, you know. And I always used to say, it comes out the top of your head, you know, and we're talking to John about it. So we talk, and say, "What is that, man?" So I don't know, it just comes out the top of my head. And I remember I was having trouble with it. Kansas City, and I couldn't let go, you know. And he came down in Abbey Road and he sort of said, "Comes out the top of your head, right?" I go, "Thank you." Well, and then, you know, did that. So that's all I know. Sort of, it's stupid stuff like that comes out the top of your head, which I'm sure isn't true. But, you know, that's enough for me.
Would always look at me and say, "Yeah, but, you know, you're too cutesy looking and stuff, and you should be doing Broadway, and girl rock and rollers don't make it in this business. Look what happened to poor Grace Slick, and Janis Joplin's dead, and give it up," which really, like, that was it. That pushed me right over the edge. I got real angry, and I was hungry, and I was mad, and New York's got like a real good way of really pissing you off when you need it, you know, but it's good. It's like a good thing. And you get real defensive and real aggressive, and that's probably how what happens up there now began. It was from that, from the frustration of being pushed around because you were female and, you know, told don't wear so many, don't wear jeans, put a dress on, you know, that kind of thing. It was just so ignorant that I just like kind of lost my mind and just, you know, went.
Show Me the Way was part of the batch that I wrote in Nassau in the Bahamas. Would have been, when did the Frampton record come out? 75. Mm-hmm. So I wrote that in 74. It was, Show Me the Way was written in the morning, and I wrote Baby I Love Your Way in the evening. So that was what we call in the business a bumper day.
Otis was the king for me, Otis Redding, and that was the best live gig of my life was with Otis Redding. I saw him in a little underground club in London. I think there weren't many white faces at all, and just the feeling was, well, mind-blowing.